Interested in having your book made into a song or having a theme song made for your book? Then this is a show for you. Hi, I'm author Tonya Duncan Ellis, host of Write This, an author interview show. And today I'm thrilled to welcome Tara Trudel, who is a singer and musician who creates theme songs for books. And she also produces fractured fairy tales and other music for children. So I'm thrilled to have her come on today. I've been listening to her songs all morning. It's actually been distracting me from doing my work because they're so cute. And I can't wait to learn about her journey and all the exciting things that she's been doing with her music. So we're going to have her join in just a few minutes. And I'm so thrilled to see some of my friends here coming in to tune in. Thank you so much for your support and for showing up for the show. So this is going to be wonderful. And I will invite Tara on, see if she's able to join us and get her on here. This is going to be a lot of fun. Let's see, get her here. And I just became learning about maybe getting some music made for my books because they're so adorable, and her skills at creating music that sticks with you is really incredible. So let's get it there. Okay, I see that she's here. So Tara, I've sent you an invitation. If you can accept that, or let me try to send one again. Get you here. So just click on the invitation and join me, and I can't wait to see you. Okay, she's on there. So this is going to be really exciting for some reason. Let's see. And Tara, I'm sending you an invitation, so just accept that. It says requested, okay? And I hit accept. This has been happening every week. I don't know what is going on.
Hi.
Okay. Hey, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Oh, fine, fine. You know, you have been keeping me from getting my work done today because I got on your website and I keep listening to all your songs, and I can't sing, so I'm not even going to try to sing them. But I've been along and singing them, and it's been keeping me from focusing on my.
Well, hopefully it'll give you some musical motivation to go into the afternoon. Maybe you'll write something lyrical.
Yeah, so cute. And I want to say before we get started, there's a song you made for a book called Ode to a Bad Day. That is a new book that just came out. And I had a bad day the other day. I was just crabby all day. And I said, this is something I'm going to sing. If I'm in a bad mood, I can just sing that. So kudos to you for the music and the author for the words in that song, because it's.
Yeah, I love that book. Yeah, and I feel the same when I'm having a bad day. Sometimes I start kind of like singing it and thinking about the book and the illustrations. And yeah, it is a mood lifter for sure.
Okay. Now tell us a little bit about yourself, Tara. Where are you from and what do you do? Exactly what is it that you do?
Yeah. So I grew up in Rhode Island and started studying music when I was young. I started playing the flute like in school. And after college, I worked at a community music school in Chicago for many years. And was teaching and running programs there. And then I actually left that job to go tour with a comedy theater as a musician. So I toured with the Second City, which is also based out of Chicago, for a few years and taught there, and did a lot of shows there. And after that, I moved to Los Angeles, where I live now. And my career is kind of a little bit of this and a little bit of that within music. But one of my favorite things to do is sort of take that education background that I have, and that music background and that comedy background, and kind of meld it all together. And so I do a lot of theme songs for kids' books, and they feel very theatrical. They kind of take that theater background into them. I just released my debut album earlier this year, Fractured Fairy Tales Remixed. And then I also do, I play shows from time to time and do music for comedy still as well.
Yeah, this is so interesting. And I know I live in Houston and I've read my books at different events and they'll have entertainers that have fun songs for kids. So do you do things like that as well?
Yes, I just a couple weeks ago, Los Angeles did its first book festival that was just dedicated to children's books, the LA Kids Book Festival, and so I performed there. I also had a booth there all day where we were making dance bracelets with the kids, and it was a great event. And I hear that it's going to be an annual event, so I'm really excited about that.
Now, how did you get into writing music for children? What led you to write these children's theme
Yeah,
songs?
so when I was teaching, I started kind of filling gaps and things that I wanted to have in my classroom by writing some original songs. So it just started kind of out of necessity almost. It was like, ooh, I would really love to have a song where we could use scarves in this specific way. So I would kind of put things like that together and just really became like, I just love the songwriting process. So I started kind of trying to find different ways to do songwriting, and some of that was in live theater shows, and some of that ended up being for kids' books as well.
Now, I became acquainted with you through the 12 books challenge or the 12 by 12 picture book challenge. So do you write picture books as well, or?
Yes. So it's definitely a dream of mine to publish a book one day. I've been more working on the songwriting side recently, but just studying picture books and writing songs for picture books has helped me get really deep inside them. And I think it's definitely changed the way that I write songs too. I would not have written Fractured if it hadn't been for the time that I've spent in the kidlit community, like studying these books so closely. I really try to bring that kind of storytelling element into my songs. I like the way that a lot of kids' books will take a kind of a heart message and wrap it inside, but it's not so like explicit. I like to try to do that in my work too, kind of have these layers of humor and heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And something interesting to me, Tara, is since I've been writing picture books a couple of years, and recently now when I'm listening to music, I'm seeing all the similarities between songs and the picture book. So it is really interesting.
Yeah, it is. I think there is like this sense of rhythm that a really good picture book has. Even if it's not a rhyming book necessarily, there's still the pace is so important, and kind of the shape of it and the melody. There are a lot of things that it has in common with songs for sure.
Yeah, that's really cool to me.
Yeah, thank
And
you.
your family think about what you're doing. It's just so interesting and unique.
Yeah, so my children, I have two kids. They are 6 and 4, and both of their voices appear on my album. So they were very helpful during the writing process. I would play songs for them, and like the Magic Mirror song that's on the album. There's a song about the magic mirror who's tired of everybody asking it who's the fairest of them all. And that song went through about 6 full versions before the one that's on the album made it. And my son, who was, small at the time, he was only like 4, he listened to the first version and he said, why is this song different than the original story? And I didn't have a good answer for him, so I had to go back to the drawing board.
Oh, okay. He's like, Fractured. It's
Yeah.
not any different.
He's like, I don't understand what's different. So he was a great reviewer. He was a really good test audience. And the kids have been like very excited about it. They ask to listen to it in the car all the time. So that's kind of like the biggest compliment, honestly, that I could have working on a kids album.
And your voice is a very beautiful voice. It reminds me of kind of Gloria. Have you heard of Gloria Estefan?
I love her. Oh, that's a huge compliment.
Kind of similar to that to me. Yeah.
Thank you. Oh yeah, I've always loved her work. That was the thing that we listened to in the car a lot when I was a kid.
Nice. Okay. So could you use some of the Fractured fairy tales as your own picture book story ideas, or do you have any plans to do that?
I would love to do that. Yeah, I think it's a matter of kind of finding the right, like anyone in publishing, finding the right agent or publisher who kind of sees the vision and believes in it. I think that they could work for multiple age groups. Just looking at who is listening to the album, it is kind of widespread. There are like young toddler preschool age, but then also like my son's elementary school friends are really kind of enjoying it. So I feel like it could be a picture book. It could be a chapter book series. It could be like kind of an updated Grimm's fairy tales sort of thing. So I would love to do a book piece one day if I can find the right partner for it.
Right. Now, how did you connect with the authors who have used you for their picture book themes? How did that work?
So the very first one I did was back in Chicago, and that was with Amy Krauss Rosenthal. And I was such a huge fan of her work from my teaching days. I'd used a lot of her books in my classroom. And one of my friends at Second City who did the same job that I did, playing the piano and doing all the music for shows, had mentioned to me that he was about to go have lunch with his friend who was an author. And I knew a lot of authors from being a teacher, so I asked him who it was. And when he said Amy, I definitely fangirled a little bit. And this is my friend Nick Gage, so Nick said, oh, well, let's all go to lunch together. And so we did. And within the first 5 minutes of meeting Amy, she said, so what are we all going to work on together? And so that collaborative spirit was like really amazing. It's something I try to bring forward in my work as well. So we worked on Uni the Unicorn, the theme song for her book together. We also did a short film together that we were kind of out in Chicago filming at a farmer's market. We did a serenade stand. And those projects were really influential to me in thinking about how I wanted to build my career. And I loved doing the picture book theme song. So then I kind of went out and tried to see if I could meet some authors and do some more.
What's a serenade stand?
The serenade stand. Oh, so it's a short film. You can see it on Amy's YouTube channel. And we set up, instead of a lemonade stand, we sold songs. And we had kind of a menu of songs that you could choose from, or we would also improvise a song for you if you wanted. And it was just a really lovely day in Chicago. People came up to the stand and chose some songs, and then Amy made a short film about it.
So cute.
It was really
now
fun.
What's the process for producing a song from a book? What do you do?
So an author or an illustrator will usually approach me. It's not usually from the publisher side, although we do end up collaborating throughout the process. They'll approach me about a song, and we'll have kind of just an initial meeting after I read an early copy of the book about sort of like what were they thinking about when they wrote it, and do they have any songs in mind? Like, did they listen to songs while they were writing, or is there a certain style of music that reminds them of their book? Is there anything that they want to keep a surprise from the book, or is there anything that they feel is really important to include? And so we have this whole conversation, and I take notes the whole time. And then I kind of go off and take that information, and between the information that the author gives me and everything that's in the book, I have what I need to make the song.
Cool. Yeah. It just, even as a writer, you have your process, and I've talked to illustrators, and all these creative people have these different processes for creating the work. So it's really cool to hear this.
Yeah. It's a really fun process. I love just kind of diving into the book and finding like, what's the song that's in this book? And I'm working on, I'm actually working on my 11th book theme song right now. So that one will be coming out a little bit later this fall.
Now, can you share any songs, or is this putting you on the spot? I'll put you on the spot. For anyone to hear, can you sing song or play something?
I don't have my stuff set up. I'm just on my phone, so I don't have my music set up right now.
Have you?
I do have plans to kind of do some sort of unplugged videos from Fractured. I think it would be fun to do acoustic versions of the songs on piano or guitar. So that's coming soon.
Yeah. Yes, and I want to encourage, we're going to give your contact information in the end, people to just go onto your site and listen to the songs, because they're, I guess it's called earworm. They stay with you and keep you thinking about that storyline. So that's great for us as authors to get our work out and get people engaged with the words themselves.
Yeah, thank you. I do feel like Kidlit really helped me through the whole writing process. I had a group of authors that did a listening party for me and listened to the lyrics and kind of gave feedback. I had a group chat with some picture book writers who write humor specifically. The humor room was really helpful throughout the whole process. The PB workshop and 12 by 12, all these groups were places that I got a lot of support while I was writing. So I do feel like I owe a lot to the Kidlit community as far as this album goes.
Now, where do you plan to go from here? What are some of your next projects that you've got planned?
Yeah. So right now, I'm really excited because next week there's going to be a visual album coming out for Fractured. So all of the songs have an animated lyric video that goes with them, and I'm going to release it as one whole piece. But then also you'll be able to just like click on each chapter if you want to hear or see a specific song. So that'll be out on YouTube and Vimeo next Friday. So just kind of excited to, I'm calling it the Fractured Cinematic Universe, and I'm kind of excited to keep expanding that. I would also eventually like to do a stage version of it because I have that theater background. I had that in mind when I was writing it. So that's kind of a dream. And then I always have a lot of ideas for other projects. So I have ideas for my next kids music album. I'm working on my next kids theme song. I would love to do books. So I have a lot of ideas, and it's just kind of choosing the ones that are going to be next.
Now you're in LA, I guess so, but do you run across many people doing exactly what you're doing, or is it a unique thing? But out where you are, maybe there's more people doing similar type.
Yeah, I think theme songs for books is pretty specific. I know Emily Arrow is another amazing children's musician who has done some songs for books in the past. But I don't know a lot of people who are specifically doing theme songs for books. I think that there are a lot of amazing children's musicians who also have their own picture books. And that's like a community that I'm becoming a lot more aware of and excited about learning about their work.
Yeah. So. Now, what are the fees for having these produced if authors are interested in utilizing you for this?
Yeah, so it kind of depends. People can definitely approach me. We can talk about it. It depends on the length of what they're looking for a lot of times, like because some people do want like just a short little jingle for social media, like that kind of thing is less expensive than like a full length song. And then I edit lyric videos for them as well. So I'll take the illustrations from the book and turn it into a video that you can have and bring to like a school visit or something like that. A lot of authors that I work with like to have that as a component of their in-person thing. So I have a few different packages, and I'm happy to like share that with anyone who's interested. If you want to message me on Instagram or through my website, I love working with authors. So always happy finding people.
Or is it just picture books? Could you do something with a longer book?
I did a YA once. I did a YA novel, and it was really fun, and I loved working on it. It was a different kind of challenge because the book was still being edited when we did the song. And so I didn't have like the entire text to work with, but we kind of the author and I worked together. It was an author named Julia Ember in her book Ruin Song. And she was there was a musical element in the book. So she was looking for kind of like something that matched a dark fantasy novel. And we used excerpts in her synopsis and just went really deep on our questions together to try to find that hook together for what the song was going to be. And I was really proud of how that came out. So yeah, I would love to I've never done a middle grade or a chapter book. So I would love to add that to the list. That would be a lot of fun.
Now, growing up, have you always studied music and been a music teacher? What would you have thought if you saw yourself now when you were young?
That's such a great question. I love thinking about that. I think I would be so happy to see that I found a way to make a career in music, because that was something that I always really worried about when I was young. It didn't seem super practical. I didn't have a lot of models for how it could work outside of being like a band director. I remember I took like a career aptitude test in high school, and it said I should be a composer. And I was like, how is that a job? And now it is my job. And so I feel really grateful for that. And I think that my younger self would also be like, oh, there is a way to do that. So yeah, it's very cool.
And just, it's showing how you're using your passion and your talents and bringing joy to other people and doing something that you love. So this is wonderful.
Yeah, thank you so much. That is a huge part of it. I think children is like such an amazing audience. If you can kind of, I've had some of my kids' friends come up to me and sing my songs. Like that's an amazing moment. If you can inspire kids with your work, like what could be better?
Yeah. And there was one song on Toot, Everybody Toot.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the We Toot theme song. Yeah, it's fun to to be able to bring humor into the work like that. That was a fun one.
Well, thank you so much for coming on and sharing what you're doing. How can people reach you, Tara, if they're interested in learning about your work and want to work with you?
Yeah, so I'm here on Instagram at Tara_Trudel. My website is also my name. It's www.taratrudel.com. You can find my music for my album Fractured Fairy Tales Remixed is on all the streaming services, anywhere you listen to music, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, all the sites. And then you can also look for that visual album starting next Friday, the 13th on YouTube and Vimeo.
Already Friday, almost Friday.
Yes.
Well, thank you again for joining us. Thank you everybody for tuning in and check out her music. I'm going to be listening to it again when I get off here to get me hyped up before I start writing again.
Thank you so much for having me, Tonya.
Yeah, so thank you and see you all next week. Bye-bye.
Bye, everybody.